New city, new job, same old bad date stories. I actually forgot about this one, and it kind of surprises me because one of my favorite writer and directors is Shane Black, and something common through most of the movies that he produces, they all take place on or around Christmas, and that's when this bad date story takes place. Um, It all started on a dating site, shockingly. I met somebody who had some common interests with me, and we went on a couple dates. We did some kind of actually sweet things, and I have confirmation they were sweet because she told me they were sweet. We went and looked at Christmas lights in a couple different locations. Um, and one of the most fun parts of that date was going through Kroger and picking out stuff to donate to a food bank like Needline for admission to one of these Christmas light spectaculars. And at the time, I was working at Poly Eyes with some of my favorite people in the world. And the stories that come out of that place are not only true, but also fairly hard to believe. I think there's a few of them posted on YouTube. You might be able to find them. But so, as luck would have it, we were going to have a Christmas party at the restaurant. And I invited her. And it was going to be a potluck. So, naturally, I went and looked at the list, and everybody had taken chips and dip and drinks and different baked goods, bakery things, queso dip, chili, other assorted sundries. I was like, well, I think I'm going to have to bust out my ace in the hole, which is going to be little bitty cheesecakes. So they're about this big. And so we went and got some graham cracker crusts, little pie crusts, and went back to her place to make them because this is a really quick cheesecake recipe. It's a no-bake cheesecake. So you mix the stuff together and then they have to chill. And that's pretty much it. So we started working and got things finished, stuck them in the fridge, and then we went and sat and talked for a while, got ready for the party, and picked up my brother, who didn't work at the pizza place, but had a huge fan following there and probably still does because he's actually the more charming and more well put together of the Arneson brothers. And if you're going to have to pick one of us, don't put up with this level of bullshit. He's the one who can speak in coherent, complete sentences and also plays a mean piano. And if you slip me a 20, I will rent him to you to play at your bar mitzvah. But anyway, the three of us made our way over to this Christmas party, which was just getting started. And I, of course, was introducing her as my girlfriend. I'm like, this is my new girlfriend, everybody. And they're all like, oh, neat. And treated her really nicely. And we sat down, and I was just trying to point out all of the legendary characters who featured into the stories I used to tell, like Henry and George and Sam and Virginia and other people such as Kay and Nancy and Maria and anybody else whose name is slipping right off the top of my head as I speak, because this is totally improv. And so I'm remembering this story as I go along, and that's just how it goes sometimes. So anyway, we go to the party, and it was a good party. There was an impressively talented DJ there who was making Christmas music sound like something that is not annoying canned music that comes out of the mall when you accidentally wander into it. And there was a Dirty Santa thing that I forgot to participate in because I think I was broke for some reason that I don't remember. But long story short, everybody had a good time. We got back in the car, dropped my brother off, and that's when I noticed my date, girlfriend, or whatever was not talking to me at all. And to paraphrase Forrest Gump, I may not be a smart man, but I know what trouble is. So I asked her point blank because we were that kind of couple that um, were straightforward with each other. So I said, look, you're not talking to me. I know you're upset. I don't know what I did. Just tell me and I'll apologize for it and try and avoid making that mistake. Well, I'm glad you asked. It's like, oh, fuck. It's like, did I accidentally ignore her? No, I don't think so. Got the drinks, held the door. What could I have possibly done wrong? You know those cheesecakes? Like, yeah. Why didn't you let me help? Well, how? You had the mixer and you volunteered to do all the dishes, even though I swore up and down I would do them because I felt kind of inconsiderate making a mess of your kitchen. You acted like I wasn't even in the room when you were making them. It's like, well, I don't know how to break this to you, but the kind of cooking that I do never requires any finesse. And I was making that recipe up off the top of my head. So I was just kind of throwing things into the mixing bowl until it tasted like the stuff that is in a cheesecake. But you didn't even offer to let me help mix. I was like, it's got one dial on it to set the speed. How much interaction is? Long story short, I fucked up severely, and I'm taking full responsibility for this because apparently I'm just really bad at anticipating the needs of a partner to the extent that tiny cheesecakes need two people to assemble them. But apparently this was part of a bigger picture of, I guess I must be too nice to too many people or something like that, because it's like, how could you possibly ever commit fully to me if you've got so many friends? And like, we don't sleep together. It's just that we hang out and we have the common interest of all working at the same place that is so absurd that we laugh because we don't want to cry over it. It's, but you would drop anything you're doing for any of them. And it's like, well, that's kind of the principle of having friends, but you wouldn't drop the mixer to let me help make the cheesecakes. And it turned into this long circular discussion that I kind of checked out of because I was totally not paying attention when she told me to get out of the car. I was like, yeah, but it's my car. Yes, but I just need to be away from you for a minute. It's like, well, why don't I take you to your house and let you be away from me there? That sounds like a good idea. Like, oh shit. Okay. Let's go. So I dropped her off and walked her to her door, said good night, got a good night, and texted her when I got home. I was like, look, I am really sorry once again. That was really inconsiderate of me. And it didn't go really well, but that's kind of implied whenever I start these things off with, hey, it's Mike with another bad date story. So, as you can guess, that relationship crashed down in flames around me, which was fine because it was Christmas, so I was already in a pretty depressed state of mind for totally unrelated reasons. But yeah, I got the "I think we should just be friends" text. Never heard from her again, and that was that. So I know there's a lesson to be learned here, just the same as don't serve wine in a Snoopy tumbler, or don't ever spend the night at the house of somebody who's a flat earther, because the craziness will just multiply as the hours pass. I got a lot of fresh air building the fence. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of okay with that, except for the part where I was probably tricked into it, but maybe just gullible and frankly bored. But yeah, if there is some kind of activity to be completed, no matter how insignificant the details are, share the duties with your partner. It makes for a much better bonding experience, and you probably won't get yelled at or kicked out of your own car by said person. Um, oh, and Christmas time is a great time to donate to Needline, so always remember people less fortunate than you. So I'm sure there's going to be more of these stories as I recover the memories or go out on new bad dates, but fingers crossed. I'm bound to not fuck up sooner or later, and you guys will probably be the first to know, unless I tell my mom, which always seems to jinx me. But fuck it. That's what life's all about, right?